There has been an accident, a terrible accident. We need to find out what happened to Granny. What is this? Who did it? Who are the suspects? It's all up to you. I'm counting on you guys. Let's get into it. So, case report, which I have right in front of me, which is top secret, read only, eyes only. Here we go. Who is the victim? I give you poor, dear old Granny Smith, 82 years old, occupation, cook and baker. Now, what happened? What is the crime, you ask? Well, medical reports indicate that Granny became ill after sampling one of her own pies, which are very tasty, I might add. Doctors report that one of the ingredients was switched in an attempt to poison the recipient of the pie, which was none other than Mr. Larry Ham. Who is Ham, you ask? He is the leader of the notorious gang, the Three Little Pigs. And the gang and Ham have many enemies throughout the neighborhood. So, let's talk poison, people. The doctors have traced the poison to a white powder substance found in the pie. They are unsure of the exact nature or origin of the powder. However, each of the three suspects were found having white powder in their home. It is going to be your job to determine which one of these actually committed the crime. I give you the three suspects. On your left, Jack and Jill Johnson. In the middle, Walter, a.k.a. Big Bad Wolf, and Robin, also known as Little Red Riding Hood. All three of these suspects are known to have motives to harm Mr. Larry Ham. I give you suspect 1. Age 41, male, occupation, home demolition, Walter, a.k.a. Big Bad Wolf. In 1994, Mr. Wolf was charged for the attempted murders of Mr. Ham's two older brothers, Steve and George. Mr. Wolf was later found not guilty due to the lack of evidence tying him to the crime scene. Mr. Wolf has since been a target of the Three Little Pigs gang. I give you suspect 2, Robin, a.k.a. Little Red Riding Hood. Age 26, female, occupation, baked goods delivery. Now, Miss Riding Hood has been delivering Granny's baked goods for over 5 years to her clients. However, she was recently fired after Mr. Ham reported that he saw her sampling some of those very tasty baked goods that she was supposed to be delivering to customers. I give you suspect 3, Jack and Jill Johnson, age 30, 29, male and female, both employed at the Hilltops Waterworks Company. Now, the motive for Jack and Jill Johnson come from the fact they are on medical leave from a recent fall resulting in head injuries. Believing that Mr. Ham is to blame for their trouble, Jack and Jill have recently filed a lawsuit on Mr. Ham, who is the owner of the property in which they both have fallen, but they have yet to receive any payment. So, what is your job, you ask? Your job, should you accept it, is to be the forensic team analyzing the powders from the three suspects' houses. What are you actually going to do? You are going to take all three powders and you are going to react them with 3 different solutions. You will then match one sample to the crime scene sample and determine once and for all who has killed poor Granny, so they can, of course, be brought to justice. Now, what are the reactants? What is your lab safety you need to know? First of all, an iodine solution. Remember, we worked with this last week. This is all about making sure you don't stain your clothes or yourself. Second, an acid solution, which we all know will be wearing lab-appropriate safety goggles. And a water solution. Now, what kind of change has occurred? This will be your job to determine this. You need to know if a physical or chemical change has occurred. Why, you ask? It is because you will match up those physical and chemical changes to the crime scene sample. What am I showing you here? Let's take a look. You have a solid and a liquid being combined, and what do I see there? If you said bubbles, you are in fact correct. And we know bubbles indicates that a gas has been produced, and that is what kind of change, people? If you said chemical, ding ding, you're correct. Now, just to review real quick some content knowledge. I know this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. You got this. I know this, but let's just review it. It'll make me feel better. So, physical change. Remember, you are looking for a weenie or a very small change. Light blue to a little lighter blue, okay? If you are just dissolving something, meaning they're in the same place at the same time, or if you're doing a state of matter change, if you're melting or freezing or anything like that. However, if you see a huge color change, white to purple, big color change, you know it's a chemical change. If you see bubbles are being produced, you know that there is a new gas that has formed, and then you can go ahead and say it is a chemical change. And then don't forget the fancy term here at the end, forming a precipitate. And remember, that's when you combine two liquids and all of a sudden a different one falls out of solution. Perfect, chemical change. So I give you the summary, and let's not forget dear old granny. Now, the three suspects, don't forget, they were Walter, aka Big Bad Wolf, Jack and Jill Johnson, and Robin, aka Little Red Riding Hood. We talked about physical and chemical changes, and you will employ the scientific method from prediction to conclusions. I thank you, my forensic scientists, and I look forward to finding out who killed Granny.